Hey there, Giants. Ready for another great day in math? All right, we are jumping into multiplying fractions today. Go ahead and fold your next journal page in half. Title it Multiply Fractions. And please notice how far up on the page I have placed my problem and my model. And don't forget to date your page. I will pause the video. Okay, now that we are all caught up and ready to go, let's take our first note. And our first note is reminding ourselves, or maybe for some of us, learning how to turn a whole number into a fraction. So turn a whole number into a fraction. Right. Okay, we're going to list two examples here. And we know that a fractional 1, if we have one whole piece, and it's not cut into anything, it's just 1, right? The size of the piece is 1. So we call it 1/1. So if we have like one whole pizza, and the whole pizza is there, this is what it looks like as a fraction. 1 as a fraction. So if we have 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1 plus another 1/1, that will equal 5/1. Oh, I'm running out of room, and that equals 5. Can you fit that in there? Okay. So 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1. We have already learned that the denominator always stays the same. And we just add up our numerators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 1. And as a whole number, it looks like this. Okay? So what if you are given a whole number? I think this will be easier. What if you're given the whole number 3? Turn that into a fraction. Okay, if Ms. Cruzy asks you to turn that into a fraction, you just make the whole number the numerator, and 1 becomes the denominator. Okay, this is what 3 looks like as a fraction. And let's remind ourselves that that is 1/1 plus 1/1 plus 1/1. Okay? Alrighty. So now that we've taken that note, we are going to use this this math idea today when we are multiplying fractions. We are going to see some whole numbers, I do believe. And we need to take our whole number and then turn it into a fraction. Okay? Alrighty. So here, let's write our process down so that we can be successful when we get to our problem. Okay, the first step, and remember, go ahead and take your number and put it on the crease so that you have plenty of space for notes. Rewrite problem. Rewrite problem, comma, if necessary. And I'm saying this because sometimes you will have your problem in word form and you will need to write it with mathematical symbols. And so if you need to rewrite the problem because it's in word form and put it in using mathematical symbols, like the word of, we need to change that into a multiplication sign. We need to rewrite our problem. Okay? Second step. If there is a whole number, we need to make it a fraction. Okay? So, if there's a whole number, make it a fraction. If there is not a whole number, then we can just skip this step. But this is very important, okay? And now that we've taken this note up here, we are ready to know what to do with a whole number. Okay, step 3. We multiply straight across. multiply straight across. And this is why I love multiplying fractions. It's just that easy. We have a numerator times a numerator. Numerator. And the denominator times the denominator. Okay? I'm going to put a little semicolon right here because I'm not done with step 3. Now step 3, this is a very important question. If you're looking at your numerator, they're both your numerators, and you're thinking to yourself, I am going to get an amazingly big answer, Miss Grizzy. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, is that too big? So your question to yourself is this going to be too big? Well, if it is, try cross-cancel. Try cross-canceling. Try cross-canceling. Canceling. Somebody needs to look this up and tell me if I need 2 L's right there. But right now, I'm sticking with 1. Okay? Let's plug forward. All right? And I'm going to show you how to cross-cancel in just a minute. Step 4. This is how you cross-cancel. You ready? Divide the diagonal digits by the greatest common factor. Divide the diagonal digits by the greatest. I know, you probably thought you'd never hear that again, right? By the greatest common factor. The GCF, the greatest common factor. Okay? Then multiply. Then multiply. And number 5, that's going at the very bottom of my page, this is why it's important you don't skip any lines here because you're going to need every single line today, is simplify if necessary. Okay? Simplify if necessary. That's always true with fractions. Okay? All right. I'll pause and make sure everyone's caught up. Alrighty, now that we have that and we're all caught up, it's time to read our working problem. Maya collects stamps. She has 20 stamps in her collection. 4/5 of her stamps have been canceled. How many of the stamps in Maya's collection have been canceled? I've given you a model. Do you see this array? 4 rows, 5 in each column. So we know that 4 times 5 is 20. So this is our collection of 20 stamps. 4/5. So 4 of the 5 columns have been canceled. So I'm going to circle 4 of the 5 columns. Why don't you do that too, carefully, all right, as best you can. So if 4 of the 5, 4/5, 4 of the 5 columns have been canceled, we need to know how many. Well, it's pretty obvious that we can tell that this is what? How many did we circle? Right, 16. Now we're going to prove it mathematically. And this is what it looks like. This is what I was talking about earlier. You need to take this word of, and it's the rewrite the problem if necessary. So we're going to write here 4/5 of 20. And we're going to keep this note here because to remind us that we're going to turn this into a multiplication symbol. All right, I'm going to skip a line, and I'm going to put 4/5 of 20. It looks like this. All right? So now there is a whole number. Step 2. There is a whole number. I need to make it a fraction. So remember what we did with this 3 here? The 3 became the numerator, and 1 is my denominator. Okay? So I'm going to skip another line, and I'm going to rewrite 4/5 times. Now 20 is going to become a numerator. 1 is the denominator. Okay? And at any time, if you want me to stop the video, please signal. All right? So multiply straight across. And you're thinking, wow, Ms. Cruzy, I'm going to get 80. 80 if I multiply 4 times 20 and 5 on the bottom. That's kind of big, right? Let's try the cross canceling. So cross canceling is doing what? We divide the diagonal digits by the greatest common factors. So we look at the diagonal digits 4 and 1. There is no greatest common factor here, right? You can't get any smaller than 1. Let's look at 5 and 20. Okay, we know the factors of 5. 5 is a prime number. The factors of 5 are 5 times 1. And is 5 a factor over here also? Yes. Yes, it is. When I take and I look at this 20 and I look at this 5, now I'm going to divide the digits, okay? So what is 5? Let's cross this off. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Let's take 20 and divide it by 5. 20 divided by 5 is, you got it, it's 4. All right? These are legal math moves. This saves us at the other end from having to simplify. We may still have to simplify, but it's not going to be as much as, actually we're trying to not simplify at the end. So this is why we do this. Okay, so after we do that, then we what? Then multiply. So let's multiply straight across. 4 times 4 is 16. Notice how I've skipped a line and I'm bringing my answer down here. 1 times 1 is 1. This equals, let's put this back into our whole number. Remember at the top of our page here, when we took our fraction and put it back into a whole number? This is why we have both examples. Okay, so this is 16. And that's exactly what our model showed at the top. 16 stamps. All right, Giant, it's going to be a great day. This is kind of fun. I hope you enjoy multiplying fractions as much as I do. Let's do this thing called multiplying fractions.